Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, fans of the supernatural all over the world. My name's Robert Huddleston. We're going to discuss angels and demons. Angels is a angels are a thing that virtually everyone believes they are familiar with. You say angel and everybody pictures big, beautiful Roman gladiator wearing Roman imperial armor with wings and a flaming sword, or a beautiful woman in a long white gown with wings, or a fat little baby in a golden diaper with wings. None of those are true. Me and my wife, I have to give her credit, half of this discussion is her. Saw it today on one of the social medias where a young man had passed and a woman thought she was I'm sure she thinks she's a good Christian and meant all well with this statement. Said God must have needed another angel. Well, if you truly believe in the God that created angels, that's a wildly blasphemous thing to say to comfort a mortal. That when God started this whole time and space escapade, he didn't know that on January 2nd, 2020, he would need X amount of angels. And that it would be comforting to say to this mother that your son now gets to join the hierarchy of angels, that he was holier than us. Humans never get to transcend to being angels. In fact, that is the oldest fight. Lucifer challenged God because he believed he was equal to God. When he came down, he hated man because man was made in the image of God, and Lucifer, I can go back and watch another video. Lucifer is a serpent whose wings were taken away, who is part of the choir of seraphim, who are known as the fiery ones, who are the only ones who can be in God's presence. They have a set of wings to cover their eyes, a set of wings to fly with, and a set of wings to cover their feet. So what is a six-winged indestructible serpent, whose name translates to the fiery one? That is a dragon. The devil convinced you he was not a dragon. He convinced you he was a red man with horns, or that he was Tom Ellis from the show Lucifer, that he was this tall, beautiful, dashing man with a European accent. He was none of those things. That's why he hates you. You were made in the image of God, and he was made a serpent. He can't become a human. When he left heaven, he was followed shortly after by Azazel and Shemiyaza and 200 others. I can't guarantee that all 200 of those were seraphim. But let's say several of them were. You had literally a bunch of dragons coming down to earth mating with human women. But those weren't the only angels in existence. The cherubim, who we basically have adopted the image of Cupid, a youth that can fly and looks eternally youthful and pretty. The cherubim were actually described as having 4 faces: one of a man, one of a lion, one of an ox, and one of an eagle. They had straight legs with the feet and hooves of a calf. One set of wings to fly with, and one set of wings that protects their body. Now, if you look at Egypt and Mesopotamia and Greece, Turkey, the Northern European, the Celts, all these creatures show up. They're referred to as griffins and chimeras and lamassus and minotaurs and sphinxes. These creatures did come down. They did go to adjacent communities, Babylon, Sumeria, Hattusa, and in their form, people worshipped them. Thus God said, "Have no other gods before me." It means you're going to see things that will do things that men can't do, and you will think that because they are in possession of extra normal abilities compared to all the other humans you have seen, that they are God. They are indeed the created, and do not worship the created, worship the creator. So there's one creator on top, and every other god that has been worshipped was a creature he made somewhere in the hierarchy of supernaturality that is above us. Now, in a spiritual sense, in a favor sense, that's not the case. But I can't fly to the gates of heaven. I can't go to Sheol. I can't go between this dimension and another. I can't simply disappear here and appear somewhere else. Those things we would attribute to a god. So when we saw dragons and griffins and chimeras, we worshipped them, and we were told, do not worship those things. There's another rank of angels called the Ophanim, and the Ophanim are known as the wheels. They are a golden wheel interconnected with another golden wheel surrounded by eyes. Did any of them choose to leave when Azazel and Shemiyaza left? I don't know. If they did, they don't get to change their form. We would have saw them as the wheels. We would have saw them as a biological mechanical hybrid. It would have been considered a monster right out of H.P. Lovecraft. It would have been something out of your worst nightmare, something you couldn't imagine. But those are what angels appear like. If you were to see an angel now, it's why an angel always says the first words they say are "be not afraid." Similarly, when aliens show up, they say, "We come in peace." Which, if you were to go back to ancient Greek or Aramaic, "be not afraid" and "we come in peace" are probably the same damn thing. But we're still fuzzy about what a demon is. None of these characters, Ophanim, cherubim, seraphim, I don't believe any archangels have ever, to my knowledge, left the presence of God to join the dark side. But simply joining the other team does not make you a demon, and it does not change you physically. When Lucifer left heaven to pursue his own glory, he didn't change from a beautiful man into a big, ugly, wet red monster with a tail and a pitchfork. Those are ideas he's dreamed up and used the television to put in your head. The television, think about it, the television is a box that sat and told you things all day long. The Bible sat on top of that box. And all the answers were in it, but you had to open it. It wasn't shouting at you. See, the devil will go out of his way to lie to you. You simply have to go seek the truth from God. So, when these creatures, which never looked like what we think of are angels or demons, left God's presence, they didn't become demons. Demons is, again, an actual race of spiritual creature. When the seraphim and the cherubim lay with the daughters of man. This is important. All angels are men. There are no female angels. No angel has ever been not a male. That's why they came down and lay with the daughters of women. None of them were women. Or they lay with the daughters of men. Their offspring was Nephilim. And these were giant monsters. We call them dinosaurs, or a billion other varying mythological creatures. Or if you go back and say, here is Homo gobbledygook, and here is Homo sapien, and somewhere in here is the skull of the missing link of some other Homo. That wasn't a race of Homo anything. That was just a guy walking around the streets in the days of Noah. He wasn't a caveman. He was far more advanced than you thought he was. And by the time he looked close to man, he was several generations removed from the seraphim or the cherubim. For example, Luciferian science will tell you that the Denisovans, which were cavemen living in a cave in ancient Siberia, somehow have tools that were, as far as we can tell, precision lasered. Like, there's no way cave people technology could have ever made these tools. Well, then people just say, well, aliens. Well, I don't believe in aliens. Aliens are demons. So we have advanced humanoid creatures living thousands of years in the past. And no good explanation where they got this visible advanced technology. It is not speculation. They're like, we don't know how they made these things. Because before Noah, all of these creatures had been bestowed the knowledge of the gods. What we think of are aliens and the Anunnaki or whatever whatever other spirit beings we like to say we spoke to. They were angels who came down and lived amongst and bred with women. Their offspring were monsters. All the monsters we see in mythological history, and then all of the monsters we see in evolutionary history. All your dinosaurs, all your chimeras, all your manticores and your dragons, and your abominable snow monsters, they all lived together. Quite a few of them are still here on Earth, but there was certainly a time when they were as plentiful, and then up until the days of Noah, Noah was the last genetically pure man. That's why God had to flood the earth. So where do demons come into play? None of those creatures ever became a demon. A demon is when a cherubim or a seraphim mates with a woman, and they give birth to a Nephilim, which we would recognize as a dinosaur, or a Bigfoot, or any other type of ancient monster. Some going more the way of monsters, some going more the way of humanoid, depending how much genetic material and how far down the line it went. When those creatures died, they don't get to go to heaven. They don't get to go to hell. They are not part of the bargain. That they have tangible spirits that live. They have an immortal spirit. And it was both once angel and human. So what do? They remain here in this plane, and they are referred to as demons. And they want to inhabit the flesh again. Demons were never supernatural, and as far as I could tell, never chose a side. They were abominations born outside of the will of God. And the answer to answer the question, do they have souls? Where do our souls come from? What constitutes a soul? They had a soul. They have souls. But those souls don't have right to the kingdom of heaven. So, was there a religion for these creatures in all the generations they lived before Noah? Probably not, I don't know. But when they die, it's their spirit that lingers. It's them that we refer to as a demon. The thing we think is going to inhabit us or possess us. They're also every ghost you've ever seen. Now, I have a theory on sometimes our physical energy can be left behind in this plane. Like, and I hate to say it, like an energy ghost, like a force ghost, but of a dead person. I don't have all the Ghostbuster mathematics worked out on that, but that is a theory I'm standing by pretty well. The majority of time you have seen a ghost, it has been a demon. Every time you've seen what you thought was a demon, every demon is the untethered spirit of the offspring of a fallen angel and a woman. So when we think of angels and demons, let's recap. Angels are a specific class of species. They can't change their species. They don't become demons when they change teams. Demons are specifically the ghosts of the offspring of angels and human women. All angels are men. There are no female angels. And lastly, from the second and third book of Enoch. The first book of Enoch was written probably by Enoch, in the Old Testament, and it didn't make the cut for the Nicene canon. Enoch tells the story of, pre-flood The second and third book of Enoch were written in 270 AD by Rabbi Simeon, and after he made a ritual of denying Christ, a creature appeared to him claiming to be Metatron. Metatron said, "I was once Enoch, and I was so holy that I transcended to become an angel." And that right there alone is where we get the story of men becoming angels. It was written nearly 300 years after Christ by a rabbi who denied Christ and then spoke to a demon who said, "No, no, 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 no. I was once Enoch, and I was so good that I became the voice of God." Enoch, or Metatron, was the voice of God. That's not true. Metatron is a demon. Perhaps a fallen angel, probably a demon. Wasn't in the room, didn't cut him in half, count his rings, can't say for sure. Certainly no longer what we consider a angel on the side of God. So when we think of our loved ones dying and becoming angels, that does not happen. We should have no desire to become an angel. God built a heaven for us in the afterlife. Angels are creatures built to serve a specific purpose. We should not aspire to be them, and it is the fallen angels who aspire to be us. We never become angels, and when you think of a demon, you're not thinking of an angel who switched sides and grew horns. You are thinking of the offspring of still a physical angel, which looks like what you would call a horrifying monster, and an ancient woman. That flesh was only allowed to live so long, and when it died, it still had an eternal spirit, and it is what we think of in all of popular imagery as a demon. So the next time you see a white-robed woman with a halo and wings on top of the Yule tree, that's a demon. When you go to grandma's house and you see a bunch of little cute babies laying their heads on books with wings coming out of their backs, those are demons. When you turn on your television and you see Tilda Swinton playing Gabriel, that's a demon being influenced by Lucifer, the first trans. The trans mafia is ancient. Everything Lucifer does is inverts. So be mindful when you say God needed another angel, or he's singing with the angels, or entertaining ideas that angels can become Nick Cage and just give it all up for Meg Ryan. These are eternal roles we've been cast in. I can never be anything but a man. Shamyaza can never be anything but a dragon. I don't know the names of any cherubim, but they can't have anything but 4 faces. None of them can ever transcend their gender, no more than I can. And I think these are the fundamental building blocks for why people don't have a faith these days. It's real hard to imagine all the allegory in the Bible when it's built on mountains of other allegory. It's easier to conceive of Jesus as a real person when you accept that Lucifer is a real dragon. So, like this video, comment, subscribe, share, and if you like what I said, you should go pay me on my Venmo. God bless you.